and it was hard for them to integrate back into their society. Very, very hard. They were not either here or there. The people on the island know, these were criminal, and and then for them, they didn't really know how to like really, um, act traditionally. You know, their minds, were pretty much Western. You know, and all about that gang sign nonsense, in which the people in the islands were not about that. And they kind of like have their own little separate little communities. I mean, some of them integrated, whereas others it did not. And also, too, what they noticed with these individuals, when people from the island seeing these people coming from like the bigger cities, they started to imitate some of their behavior, which pretty much they said has been increased of drug abuse due to these. That's what the islanders and that's what the Tongan authority says, due to these criminals coming back or coming back to the island. They didn't grow up in, like in, Tonga, what have you. They pretty much spent most of their lives in New Zealand, but the New Zealand government pretty much, you know, pretty much got rid of them and tell them like, you no longer belong here. You're just going to go back where you originally came from.
It's interesting. Something similar happened in Australia with the South Sudanese population. They went there, obviously war-torn country and all that shit. And these
Right.
niggas start again. They were accepted into like these rural communities where it's like
Right.
everyone was so excited to take them in. But some of them, shout out to YouTube, some of them started getting into a lot of gangs. So if you go to Australia and talk about black gangs, it's mostly
Mm-hmm.
South Sudanese
Su-
population. Yeah.
Sudanese, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, with Sudanese population, South Sudanese population, I can understand. But with these people
Mhm.
coming from these island nations where they're
Right.
not experiencing wars or nothing like that, I'm like,
Yeah, what's going
what the
on?
hell are you guys? Yeah, what's going on here? And coming up with gangs. I mean, I remember going to New Zealand. They had their own Crips and Blood gangs over there.
Oh wow.
Brian.
Yeah.
So shout out to you. You're a SIFE type guy. But
What's that,
you
brother?
you so I know that you travel and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
you're gathering information as you move around, right? Do
Yeah.
you do you learn from people, like listening to them when you how much of your information gathering you say is actually people giving you nice coherent information? Because obviously you have a lot of data in what you're doing, and I doubt these are just oh, one time in New Orleans I was at a bar and this guy read me the slave manifest of this shit.
You know what? It's usually I before I go to a place or a country, I pretty much read up on the culture a little bit. Um, Fiji, I did read up on the culture a little bit, about the history of my thing. Who knows? I don't want to get caught up in no coup between the locals and the Indians. And I'll let people speak about this, about the situation, and then I gather up my information. And when I went to Fiji and I read about it, it's from the various different books I read about it, it was dead on. I noticed the division between the Indians and the Fijians, and it's funny though, is I hear a lot of stuff from the Indian portion, and it's funny how the way various different societies and how the way it moves. Where when I went to Fiji and when the Indians found out that I wasn't Fijian, I get a whole lot of information pertaining to from the Indians, saying that how the way they being mistreated by the Fijian population, and they're nothing but primitives and this and that.
Yeah.
Even though you look like them, you're not them. That
Yeah.
type of
I got a question for you, right?
behavior. Huh?
Do you build models like, for example, like basic models like, okay, humans tribes fight each other, and then you go in specifics? Okay, this is why. Or do you see everything as like a whole new experience? So you go to a new country. Is it like a whole new experience of, whatever it is that you learn, or do you build models of, okay, generally people don't like each other, and then I'm gonna find out exactly why? What's your
No, I don't. To be honest with you, when I traveled to those places, I didn't want to look for that.
Okay.
Initially, I did not want to look for that because when you go on vacation, the first time I went to Fiji, it was just like a vacation. Didn't want to go through some type of sociological research, pertaining to society, but they brought it to me. And it's funny. I mean, mainly the Indians. And it's funny, the Fijians did not even really talk about that type of stuff.
I see.
Because they are the ones in reality who are dominant in power. Only time I've seen Fijians really talk about it is, I always had great situations with Fijians. When I went to, it was my last day and my first time going to Fiji. It was at a Chinese restaurant, and a Melanesian Fijian who was, who looked black, and a Polynesian Fijian who's from the east, from the island of Yao and from Tonga. They pretty much celebrated for me my last day in Fiji at a Chinese restaurant. They paid for it and all that. And I remember, I think I told you this story before. We were eating and having a great time and drinking and all that. A Fijian guy and Indian girl. Huh?
You were eating a Fijian guy and an Indian girl?
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Only queso. But it was an Indian guy. No, not an Indian guy. It was an Indian girl and a Fijian guy came in the restaurant. And the girl stared. And I was like looking at the girls, I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? They said, the Fijian guy is with that Indian girl. And I said, so what? That hardly happens here. And I just left it. We just left the conversation at that.
Interesting.
So you know what I mean? So yeah.
So you're a well, let me let you land.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear your statement.
No, it was a question. As a black man, right? Which you are. I'm gonna ask you about your baby mamas, right? Which I'm sure there are a couple of. When it comes to like any of your past relationships that you live, say that worked or were nice, or what your preferences are, whatever combination of that. Do you prefer women that talk more, have a lot to say, or in certain ways, kind of like you, sharing information about boats or whatever the hell they're into, or more like a listener type? Do you have any preferences, generally speaking, towards introversion or extroversion? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't want her to talk too much. Because you have somebody who talk too much, they might be gossiping and, like talking to their friends about, your family problems and stuff like that. And then everybody be knowing your business. I like a person who's kind of more, she's more reserved. She could be a talkative, you know what I mean? But, she knows the limits with, between us, right? And then the outside world, and not bring the outside world into our S.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I don't mind a person who's kind of like, I wouldn't say a social butterfly. Because my lady, she is a watcher. She observes. She's very reserved. She observes people and people's actions and stuff like that. But she's talkative and stuff like that, what have you. But she's not into it's weird. She's a little bit more traditional than I am, as far as she let the guys do their thing. Especially when my brother come here and he's really into sports and stuff like that. And, she don't really get into any of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? She like to do the woman's type of stuff. You know what I mean? She,
So
hang out with her friends and stuff like that. But she don't like other women who gossip. She don't like that shit. She just can't stand that shit.
All
You
right, so
know,
you're a real regular dude. You like a woman. Okay.
I mean,
That's
like everybody's different, man. Like they some guys like
right.
women. Some guys like women who are drama. They do.
Right, but you seem well adjusted somehow, even though you're FBA. What went right in your case?
Looking at people mistakes. Learning from your own mistakes. I had somebody who was pretty much, more of the radical side, and you always get in arguments. I mean, I get in arguments with my lady. That's a given. That's given in any type of relationship. But you're going to have some type of similar values.
Okay.
It have to go beyond the physical appearance.
But Chillins, let me ask you a question. What if you're so high IQ that you're always right and they're always wrong? What do you do in that situation? And it's not that they're low IQ, it's just you're superior God.
I mean, you depend. You love talking about this intelligence stuff. It really depends. Like I might be high IQ with certain things, and she might be low IQ in other things. She might be high IQ with certain things, which she is. I might be very, very low IQ. And it kind of like, you get somebody that kind of like
I get it. So you got to play the social game whereby everyone is valued for something that they bring to the table. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't bring nothing. I mean, it's like, with family members, you have no control over. I have low IQ family members and those who are high IQ family members, and those who are like in that middle. I have family members who work for NASA, a cousin who did. And I have family members who are crackheads, getting into trouble and all that type of stuff.
So Kaiser, play the let's that video with Mr. Whatever you're gonna play.
Maybe you're the Nigerian who was born in Nigeria and has a solid grounding as far as where they come from and your cultural roots and stuff like that. Perhaps you're the
Okay, so incel hour, right? If you look at his jawline, it's not bad. His beard line is actually pretty good. The guy is probably at least a solid 7. So he's already winning on the looks department. So shout out to him. He's got the voice department. He's got me beat on that. So shout out to him. So let's go ahead. Let's listen.
Oh, he'll eat lunch in LA.
British person who makes a statement.
Sorry, what'd you say, Chitlins?
No, he'll eat lunch in LA. I mean, a lot of those girls will be opening his legs. All the different nationalities, Mexicans, blacks.
Exactly.
And he's a recalled Taekwondo fighter too, so he's a chick.
Yeah, although if we were fighting, I would definitely kick his ass. But
I know you have to say stupid shit like that. It's just weird.
It is true.
You just have to say that.
Do you actually know if he can fight though?
He actually won a championship, like that kind of thing. Like, so it's like, and I know it's like the kind of Joe Rogan championship but it's like saying, do you know if Joe Rogan can fight? Right? It's like, based on I wouldn't test him.
Okay. No, obviously, okay. But here's the thing, right? Like Taekwondo and all these like Japanese, Korean shit. That's fake. If he won MMA,
you don't know if he does kickboxing on the side and all these other things.
That's the
which
thing. He looks like some nigga who went to the same university as me, right? And he looks like him. And he was actually kickboxing with me, and he kicked my ass. I just don't believe this is him. But
he looks weird SI past affecting you.
Right.
Weird.
Right. Storyteller is like Kaiser's a narcissist. He can't control himself from like always bring himself in there saying he's the best at everything or some shit. But anyway, Ike knows I only bring shit up if it's actually true, right? So it is what it is, right? Like I remember Ike, when you showed me your guitar player and shit, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a better guitar player. At least you can see I am a decent guitar player.
Oh yeah, man. Yo, Kaiser, do you still have the dang man? I remember that guitar video that you made, man. Dude, I used to listen to that all the time, actually, man. Dang, yeah.
Oh, you play the guitar? Guitar, Queso?
Yeah, one of the best in the world at guitar.
He's actually nice, man. Yeah, man.
Is he like Jimi Hendrix nice, or what kind of
that shit, man?
Huh?
All of that shit, right? Blues, talking about playing behind your back, doing shredding and shit, all of that shit. All that nice shit.
You need to bring back rock. Shit.
All of it, man. But yeah. I might actually release that video on here one time, right? But anyways, storyteller saying, okay, Matt, you've heard me play, you've seen me play. Am I decent or not? Right? Because we've got so much.
No, Kaiser's actually good, man. He's actually nice. Yeah, he's actually nice. Wow.
You need to come to California, brother.
I will, 100%. Then I'll take you guys to a cookout. You and Ike. Then we'll invite Mad as our little slave.
Such as, is a dog a horse just because it's born in a stable? Well, this is the right video for you.
What the fuck?
Let's watch it, man. This is pretty cool. Holistic
Grand Theft Auto shit right here.
Okay. You know what? And you guys are going, oh, Kaiser is scared of his dominance. Okay, you know what? I challenge him for
Kaiser pressing the fuck out of Kaiser right now. I don't know why. But...
Yeah, Kaiser with his little feminine Zulia voice, right? I can see the chat of this video when he analyzes. Kaiser, this guy with the Zulia voice out there thinks he's better than you.
Now, I have a passion for self-improvement and human optimization. You know, whether that's by changing habits, changing the diet, supplementation, all of that. That's my true passion, because like many of you guys, I've been in a rut and I've come out of it via prioritizing these things that I just mentioned. But for a lot of us, there is an elephant in the room, and that elephant in the room is the so-called spiritual positioning of many of us so-called minorities. How can, say, for example, a person who was born in the UK, I don't know, lived all his or her life in Liverpool for about 30 years, how can this person claim to be a Nigerian? Right, just think.
Okay. So far, what do you guys think, right? So he's just basically saying, hey, you've been born in the UK, your parents effed you up. You didn't develop in Africa with a fundamental sort of cultural motifs. You're actually an African tether, but you're really a UK man with a skin condition.
Matt is gonna leave us hanging.
I mean, I
oh yeah, well, sure, that's Mad, isn't it?
Matt, you grew up in Canada, right?
No, I grew up in America.
Where? I'm in the Northeast. You don't have to tell me the state.
Yeah, Baltimore. No, well, I was born in Pennsylvania, but I grew up in Baltimore.
Oh, you grew up with the Amish?
No. What?
I'm just joking.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
You don't know. You never heard about Pennsylvania Dutch country?
He said he grew up in Baltimore. Was just born in a hospital in Pennsylvania, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, he was born in the hospital in Pennsylvania. I thought he said he grew up in Pennsylvania.
Wait, were you one of those babies who were born in Pennsylvania State?
What?
No, don't worry. I hear that there's some babies who are born in prison or some shit.
Jesus Christ. That's wait, but how? I mean, what do you mean? Like, do you mean like normal people had a baby?
One that goes to jail and she's in prison.
Okay.
Yeah, she has you in prison. Okay. She raises you in prison. They're called prison babies.
Wait. So of course the baby's not going to get whatever.
No, I understand. In prison.
I understand it now.
Over time, man. Like
I just
baby's going through the same shit. I get it. Yeah, the baby's going through the same shit as a mother, man. Like, I don't know. That's why I keep saying America is fucked up, man. Europeans don't put babies in prison, man. What the fuck? Why are you gonna put a baby in prison? That baby barely gets like diapers and shit, man. What the hell? Like, that's some backwards shit, man.
That's America. That's America for you,
America, freedom, man. Yeah.
But that just sounds like
Tupac was born in prison.
What
Okay,
was
what
the
about the
question before
Nigerians?
this? All right.
Okay.
So I mean, I
Yeah,
understand what he's saying. Like, I think because, like, for example, for me,
Mhm.
like, because I look Senegalese or African or whatever, but it's like
Mhm.
I'm not. I'm not Senegalese. I'm not from Africa. That just fundamentally is
Yeah,
the case.
that's it.
It just really is the
Mhm.
case, right? Um, like functionally
But do you have
speaking,
identity,
in any
or do you
context,
see it?
like if you had to define me, it would be as an American, right?
Okay,
Um,
makes sense. Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Number one, like, and number two, I think. I mean, I still technically like the basis of me being Senegalese is still, uh, he's still the case from a genetics perspective, so on and so forth. I
Wait,
mean,
what
I can
ethnic group are
assume
you?
those values if I want, right? What?
What ethnic group are you in Senegal? Are you Wolof?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Can you make
Um,
jollof tribe? I mean jollof rice.
no, I don't. I don't. I mean, we don't cook any of that type of stuff. We cook
Oh
like. I mean, I get. I would say it, but you wouldn't know it,
no,
obviously.
mad. It's interesting, right? When I went to the UK, my mom, right, or rather my parents told me, you ain't speaking that tribal shit in here anymore. It's only English, right? That's why I stopped speaking any. Okay, I never knew a tribal language. I'm not gonna lie, right? Ever since I was in Kenya, I've never spoke a tribal language. I only spoke Kiswahili and English. But the moment we arrived in the UK, she was like, "Nah, drop the Kiswahili, just speak in English." So it looks like my siblings, both of them, sort of can barely speak uh, Kiswahili. I'm the only one who sort of. Well, obviously, I've lived in Africa now for 2 years, but even before that, I was the only one who could sort of understand Kiswahili words and stuff. The rest of them, they just forgot about it, man. They just integrate into like so-called, British accent and all that stuff. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I think it was the right move, to be honest, because it actually allowed all of us to integrate into European society and not like sounding like Baba Tunde. Hey, what are you talking about? Did you receive the order that I have given? None of us had that shit. So
I
they
mean, like
spent.
I can't speak my native. I can't speak Wolof,
Mhm,
which is the language in Senegal. But like all my like friends, because most of my friends are like immigrants,
mhm,
whatever, Middle Eastern, African, Hispanic, whatever. They all know their native like
mhm.
tongues, even though they were born in America. But it is interesting though, because like what you said is kind of true. Because like the fact that they can speak it, it does affect like because I obviously talk like I'm white, but the way that they speak
Right, you sound very
English
white.
is affected. Yeah, the way that they speak English is affected by the fact that they know that second language. So it's actually quite interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you are an extreme. You sound really white. You sound like chitlins and grits. You
Yeah,
sound
but
like
to be
Fuego.
honest,
You
like with
sound like those
me, the
really white.
reason I sound the reason I sound the way I do is actually just really, really weird. Because for me, like I've been like incubated. Like the reason why I sound the way that I sound actually has nothing to do with any sort of uh it has nothing to do with any sort of what do you call it?
Mhm.
The way that I sound hasn't developed from my surroundings. Like I don't know any white people. I haven't grown up with white people. I've talked like this literally my entire life. I've grown up only like with black people, Middle Eastern people, whatever. But for some reason, I sound like this.
Maybe that's why big fish, small pond.
Mm.
You're around Dusties, and therefore you're like the higher level versions of them. So you kind of ultimate, picked up on
Right, but
the more perfected.
Now, one question: the guy from Senegal. Do you go back to Senegal much? I mean, like
nah.
once
I mean,
you
I
can.
did when I was like very, very young.
Mhm.
When I was very, very young, but not ever since then. I haven't been there at all.
So your parents just speak to you in English then?
Yeah, I don't know the. I mean, they speak. They used to speak to me in Wolof. They speak to each other in Wolof, but yeah, I never picked up on it.
Oh, that's crazy. So they could talk about you and you don't even know it.
Yeah. Honestly, I just feel like it's more convenient if I don't know, if I can't speak it. And also, I don't know, I feel like it would be kind of fun if I did go back to like my home country, and I didn't know how to speak the language, and like everybody just took care of me basically. Like everyone just sort of deals with me in a very intuitive fashion.
Now, in
I feel
regards
like that
to
would be more
marriage,
fun.
though, in regards to marriage, okay, this is going to be an interesting question. Who do your parents? I mean, do your parents want you to marry someone from back home, or are they accepting as far as who you married? Anybody here?
They don't really care. They don't really care.
Damn. Wow. So you could marry Becky or Rashonda or Sequita. I mean, Constant
I mean,
Maria or
I mean, I mean, it hasn't. I mean, the concept of me like marrying, the concept of me like getting with someone that's white has never really been
no, it have to be.
breached.
It don't have to
Just
be white.
because,
I'm just saying. It's. I mean, in
yeah,
America, obviously, there's multiple different races besides white.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't really think they care that much. Yeah.
mhm. Wow.
Yeah, interesting. I think for me, personally speaking, I've never been interested in tribes kind of stuff. Like even as I mentioned Ike before, when I was in Kenya, like 6 or 7 years old, niggas would talk about different boys from different tribes doing this. I was just like, this is low IQ shit. I didn't even acknowledge I was part of a tribe, and I still don't, right? Generally speaking, that whole Wanga, Gabra stuff, that's just YouTube shit. I am Kaizorian, right? And that's my tribe. I don't accept these other kind of African tribes. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I've never been interested in African tribes and shit. Like,
One thing about you, so you are more New World than most of us New Worlders.
of course I am, man. America is my place, man. I don't
What
I
know,
is
mean,
man.
what
you
does
know
New
about.
World mean?
I mean, New World meaning that the Americas. He's more a part of the Americas. I mean, United States. I mean, he knows about the Caribbean. He knows a little bit about Latin America. He knows about blacks in the United States and stuff like that. It's just like, and certain things I was like, wow, where do you get this information from? And I'm like, and then I have to look it up. I'm like, wow, he's right about that.
Mhm.
I like saying it's like he lives here.
Yo,
Well,
Kaiser, have you ever been to America? I mean, I think that's a dumb question, but
I've been to New
have you?
York once.
Oh.
New York once.
I think he's more of a. I think he should live in New York first because New York will give him that.
Boston
That
vibe.
Nah, it's if you watch Tino Ainu video, he compared Lagos in New York, and he was like, New York, and this is according to him, is Lagos on steroids.
Interesting. Okay. Then I think New York would be similar to Nairobi, right? Because I think people have compared the two as well.
Right.
So
I mean, it's very, very fast, very, very
yeah.
noisy.
Mhm.
You're gonna experience some smells that you're gonna think is absolutely horrible. It might make you throw up a little bit, but and then probably come out to LA, and I think LA is kind of like your vibe, though. LA or
Yeah,
California.
I like that chill sort of vibe, but I need to be making that money, right? I can't be
Say
going
what?
out there with $20 super chat. I got to be making more money. I can't be going there with $20 super chat and expect me to have fun.
You'll have fun in LA regardless, and then you get a lot of little women here and there. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it,
true.
they're easy. I'm not saying all of them are easy, but you know what I mean. Since you're
Yeah.
young, so you'll.
Hey, plus if I pull up with my accent, trust me, all will want me. Like I just got to speak. Hello, my name is Kaizo. What's good? What's good, bruv? I'm from the UK, right?
Maybe that might work for you a little bit, and gain a little
Yeah, it
muscles.
was.
Gain a little bit of
Accent,
muscles, you'd be good.
accents actually go a long way, especially if it's like a refined one, right? Like no one wants a Russian accent, but like
No,
American accent in the UK, and niggas with American accents get girls in the UK, and I'm sure the same is in America. But if you got like some weird little Russian accent, maybe no one wants you. But like
I feel
UK,
like my
French,
accent is horrible,
American,
honestly.
no, your
I feel
accent's
like
not.
my accent's horrible. Ike
You
has
sound
a
like
great
white.
voice. The dude
no, Ike does
below
have a
Ike
great
has a
voice.
great voice.
Yeah.
Kaiser's voice is horrible. My voice. I mean, I sound very, 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 very smart, but my voice still. I think Kaza has the worst voice, but
I mean,
my
are
voice is still
you
bad.
Senegalese person? Are you very tall?
No, I'm 5'7".
Really?
Yeah.
A 5'7" Senegalese? That's crazy.
You look taller than 5'7" in your pictures. You look like 5'7.5" at least.
I mean, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm like 5'7.5". Yeah. I used to be 5'9", but I shrunk. I'm not
How
gonna
did you
say
shrink?
how.
How do you shrink at your young
I
age?
shrunk. 100%. Yes, I can't explain why, because it was extreme circumstances. But yeah, I literally shrunk.
Yeah, Flex Up saying that Queso is definitely a California dude.
Yeah, I think so too. To be honest.
Yeah, probably because you niggas think I'm metrosexual and shit, man. Makes sense.
I don't know. It just seems like it fits, honestly. But yeah, 5'7". I'm 200 pounds though. I'm 200 pounds, so relatively
Are
stocky.
you
Although,
fat or overweight or?
not really. A lot of my weight is in my legs, so no, not really fat. Not small though.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Let's
but
just
going back
talk
to
more
this
of these
dude.
Nigerian. Yeah, let's see what he said more.
All right, it's a Nigerian brother.
Think about that basic bit of information. How can that be so? Right? You're a citizen of one country, but you distinguish or detail your nationality as another country. Now, granted, your parents are Nigerian, right? But they also live in Liverpool.
Oh my god, man. See, look, here's the issue. I know you love your boy, but he's already messing things up. He's talking about citizenship and nationality. I'm like, bro, they're almost the same thing, right? In this case, you're not even Nigerian, right? If you're born in the UK, you're freaking British. Sure, you can get a Nigerian passport, but you're British. Nationality, citizenship is also British. This nigga is insane. How does he not know the difference? It's kind of interesting. It's one of those people confuse nationality with citizenship with ethnicity, right? Ethnicity wise, you could say it's Nigerian. I know there's no real Nigerian ethnicity, but let's go with that, right? So ethnicity is Nigerian, right? But nationality and citizenship is, British. But anyways, let's go ahead. That's what it really means.
In the UK, this type of understanding.
I knew the Yorubas were gay, man. It says nigga got those dick sucking lips. I knew I knew you were homosexual, storyteller. Like I knew you had to go there, right?
And maybe storyteller was a
Everyone
woman.
else was thinking it, but no
How you know he's not? How you know the person not a woman?
No, storyteller is a man. He's definitely a man. Woman doesn't. African women don't argue that much like he does.
Really? Not a Black American woman.
Yeah, they don't argue as much as.
Oh, argue. Okay.
Black American women argue on the date because she felt the date was a different date. Today was a different date.
For me, is essential before any further self-development, so-called self-improvement, or even introspection. You need to know who we are, where we're going. Otherwise, we just seem to be wanderers. People that are not really progressing, are just kind of walking in circles, right? People who don't really know or will never really figure out purpose if they remain in that state of mind. Now, who puts us in this position? Who puts us in a position where we are apparently confused with who we are, our origins, what we should rep, who we should claim? Who puts us in this position? Upon the conclusion of many so-called black on black murders, it seems like a lot of people are starting to ask the real question about where this stems from, where all this angst and disassociation with society, where does it stem from? Now, a lot of people, and I think especially with the rise of mental health and therapy, a lot of people are starting to question the traditionally unquestionable greatness of black parents. Look at this Nigerian Reddit forum, for example, and look at all these comments detailing their.
So, like, one of the issues I have with, let's say, your boy and the likes is this whole blaming people thing. Like, okay, sure, he doesn't remain in the blame. He actually goes finds a solution. like alienation as a solution is actually one of the things I think the sentiments I've felt from listening to his videos. I'm not against it, right? Like if your parents are toxic to you, whatever lifestyle you decided to live, fair enough. But I generally don't like that whole sort of blame thing, right? Your parents gave you a better life, right? The fact is, if you're in Nigeria right now, you'd be taking a shit out there on the streets, right? With the Nigeria's got the highest level of, what is it called? Like public shitting and shit, right? So I would never, for example, my parents, right? Me and my mom, we don't get along on certain aspects, right? She's a control freak, and I'm a freedom freak, right? So, we're like oil and gas. We
Water.
don't mix, right? I was gonna be a little bit more NE, right? I always have to be crazy, but but the situation is, I still respect the shit out of that woman. Right? That woman took me from a dusty ass country, got me into a white man country where they gave me a free PhD and shit. So I would always respect my mother for that shit, right? I don't give a shit if she wasn't the best preferred mother or something like that. I'll respect her for that. So anytime I hear people start doing this weird blame game thing of your parents, unless your parents was actually a piece of shit. Like if your mom was a crack whore, fair enough, right? Blame the shit out of her and like cuss her out and kick her out of existence. But if your mom actually took you out from a dusty African country, brought you to a superior white man's country, gave you education and all that shit, respect the shit out of that woman. Anyway, so we got a new panelist, American First Rifleman. I don't know what you want to add to the conversation. Do you want to start here with parents, or do you want to start with criminalities of black men, Somali man sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl on the train? What do you think about that? Shalom, mother loving wham.
Shout out to you, Kazo. Great topic as always. I'm just gonna keep it 100. White folks then screwed themselves over. They can blame other groups of people, small hats and stuff like that, for importing people into their country. And the thing about it is, diversity in and of itself is not a negative thing. But when you overcompensate for racism with overabundance of multiculturalism and all that stuff, it's a recipe for disaster, and you see the results now. And I would say you people, just like these Western countries, have to be more selective on who they let in. That's it. That's it. It's very easy to be able to, if they actually did just base level cognitive testing or some type of background check or something, they'd be able to ferret these sick people out pretty quickly. Obviously, there's going to be some that'll slip through the cracks, but most of these people were just let in carte blanche. And that's the problem. Like, so this dude doing all this stuff, I don't know. Like, think about it, is like, I'm assuming he's either first generation or he just literally just came fresh off the boat not too long ago. I don't really know. Do you know, or what's the context?
Yeah, so he's definitely a guy who came on the boat like when he was 8 years old.
Okay, so yeah, so he damn near came up with all those values, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people, like, not just because they came here at an early age doesn't mean they fully integrated. You know what I'm saying? And especially if they had a bad start or they had bad parentage from that one set, and then they just bought them over here. So yeah, so that just because they were here at an early age and they went to a school at an early age doesn't excuse me, mean that they're necessarily good people. So yeah, it's a very simple very simple problem to fix, but it's just certain people in Western society don't want the problem to be fixed.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I agree with you there. I definitely do see a point of view, and I think, unfortunately, what I saw in the UK especially is Africans coming in with good values. Now, for him, it's different, right? Because he's from a war-torn country, so I can't comment on that. But I saw Nigerians getting into crime, and I was just thinking, how the hell is this happening? Both your parents are pastor, or your dad is a pastor, your mom is a chemical engineer. You live in a suburban house, nice 2-parent household, but you're still ending up in crime. Now I know why, right? It was the Jamaicans, right? Unfortunately, sorry, American Rifleman, right? Your people were out here bullying Africans, right? They kept calling Somalis alien heads. They called the Nigerians, I don't know, all sorts of other crazy names, similar to Jared and all that stuff. So I think there was actually a war between the Africans and Jamaicans, and it caused the Africans to kind of adopt Jamaican culture. And when I say Jamaican culture, I don't mean hometown Kingston culture. I mean like native black in Western culture, basically, regressive culture, crime, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And that was just for the Nigerians to kind of stop claiming, because at first Nigerians started claiming that they were Jamaican. So I think this is all related. Crime, ethnicity, nationality, kind of not knowing where you're from, losing hope, and all that stuff. Kenyan community didn't get into crime because we were kind of small. So we didn't really get into crime. Ethiopian community didn't get into crime either. The Eritreans, I think they were just making mixed race babies around so that they can stay in the country because they came from France.
I'm just gonna say, the only thing that comes to mind is "Kill the Dreer." Kill the Dreer. Remember that song you used to play? They had to be, Jamaicans had to be assholes. Excuse my language, but they had to do that for whatever reason we don't know. And see, this is why when and not to get too far off track, but see, this is why when white folks are like, we shouldn't have let most of y'all in our country. Like, it's hard for me to say, oh, that's messed up or that's racist, because there's evidence every day that. Go ahead.
So if I agree with you generally, but let me point the areas where I disagree. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a multi-ethnic society. The problem is multiculturalism. You shouldn't allow different cultures to start breeding itself into your society. Allow for like one main dominant culture, but allow for different ethnicities. The issue is these ethnicities are allowed to keep their regressive and civilized cultures.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like I'm with you 1,000%. That's exactly what I'm saying. And so, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so when white people say that stuff, it's hard for me to be 1,000%. Obviously, I can still push back on certain aspects, but it's hard for me to be like, that's total BS. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm gonna say on that one. So anyway, but Jamaicans, just like Haitians and other people, they have inadequate cultures. Like, you were given a golden, and when I say this, obviously you were discriminated against. White people, by and large, didn't want you there, and people were mistreated. But at the behest of the government, y'all were let into schools, y'all were let into businesses, y'all were let into society at large. Maybe not as fast as you wanted, maybe not exactly how you wanted, but it happened. And all those opportunities they could have had or made for themselves, they threw it away because they wanted to be niggas. That's it. So you can blame all the racism the white man did to you and all this stuff, but he still airlifted you into his country. Maybe some of y'all took a boat into his country and said, these are the rules, good luck. And what did y'all do?
It's kind of interesting. You niggas called it respectability politics to hide away from good basic behavior. It's like, someone let you in the country, you better behave the shit out of it, man. Like, because guess what? You're a guest. And when you're a guest, you definitely better have the best manners at hand. Otherwise, they won't invite you the second time. So the problem with some of us...
Well, the funny thing, not to cut you off, but the funny thing is the Southeast Asians, the Indians, they play respectability politics, and they're running the country now.
Exactly. Bro. The Secretary of Foreign Affairs is an Indian Kenyan. The president is an Indian Kenyan. I'm sorry, Prime Minister of UK. All these sectors are taken over by the Indians because they played respectability politics. Whereas I'm a strong, unapologetic black man. What the hell does that mean?
It means nothing.
I'm trying to understand what the hell that means. It's like,
it means nothing.
Yeah, that's the kind of.
And then when you try to tell them it means nothing, and there's no tangible anything that comes from what you're saying, you're a coon, you're a white person, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it's the same predictable pattern. That's why I just like, dude, these people, like, we literally have to find a way to separate from these people, bro. Like, I just like, and yes, there's folks like you, folks like me that are kind of getting tired of the BS and the excuses, but we need to start like the better. And this is why I look to people like you, Kaizo, because I'm just going to have to say, you're some of our betters. You need to start talking to the elite people and the people you rub shoulders with. Just be like, y'all need to start building islands or something. And then they have a cognitive test or something before you're allowed to come in. Or something like that. I hate to say, like, it's a little drastic, I know, but there has to be some program to where we can identify each other and coalesce around something. Because if we just keep this, oh, this person's smart over here, this person's smart over there, and we like get along and we have the same mindset to build as black people and not this victimhood shit, we need to be working together, because it seems that the connective tissue that we should be having between each other is getting lopped off by stupid. And actually, I'm gonna call somebody out on you, Pam. I don't care, but you're gonna have niggas like who was that cat yesterday? What, Al or whatever? I hate to say it, but
Al is crazy, man.
yeah. So he'll come on. We'll have a consensus. It'll be like 3 or 4 of us. We'll have a consensus. We'll agree on something, or people are agree to disagree, but it's cordial. And then he'll start blowing up, same old stuff. People hear, but they don't listen. And we need to just like folks like that. Like, you're not invited on African Successful Island. Like, you just can't come on because of your track record.
Yeah, shout out to you, man. And you know what? If I think you've made a good point today without shitting on Black Americans, so I respect that. I think
because
it's a good thing.
Everything's shitting on Black Americans. That's why I don't even care no more.
It's not a Black American issue, so let's leave that alone.
Yes, it is a Black American issue. It is a Black American issue.
We was talking specifically about Somalia. I mean,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Somali guy who raped the girl in UK.
Yeah, I'll chill. Okay, I'll chill.
All right.
True. It's kind of interesting when you mention Somalis in a negative way. You don't get a single Somali in the chat, apart from Chilani, and she's a fake Somali. She's a Swahili, so it doesn't even count. I find that very interesting. So they only show up when we're shitting on other Africans. Interesting, right?
Your buddy Miss H, she likes to pipe up.
Yeah, she's hiding. I know she's in the chat. She's just hiding, right? Because we went hard on her people, etc. It's interesting. So let me ask you a question, Ike, actually, and it's relating to this whole cultural stuff. Were you always a cosmopolitan type, or how did you integrate?
He definitely was.
Right, like, yeah, coming from Nigeria and all that stuff at 17 years old. Yeah, what happened? Like, how did you integrate the culture, society, work, all that good stuff, right?
You're a fucking asshole.
He's definitely
but I guess
Oakland down.
I put Matt on the spot earlier, so I guess I have to bite the bullet too. So cosmopolitan, I would say the short answer is yes, right? I've always kind of imagined, I have a wild imagination, and ever since I was a kid, I kind of imagined myself as someone somewhere doing all kinds of eclectic things, definitely not culture-bound things, right? I wasn't imagining I was a desert dweller or something, some Arab or something, I guess. But so coming to America, right? Figuring out, okay, which accent am I going to use to communicate with these people, and what are their kind of like their affectations, and what can you do and not do. Being an introvert doesn't quite help in with regards to learning about people, because it takes a long time to kind of study, and you're blah 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 whatever. And America is a very extroverted culture in a particular way compared to Nigerian culture, right? The extrovert America is more FE than Nigeria, right? In other words, they want to pretend like they care about you, right? From the corporate culture all the way down, it's very much that kind of thing. So I learned early to ignore that aspect, right? And just focus on, okay, what are the freaking opportunities on the ground? What are the little things that if what are the boxes they want you to check so that you can start to amass some freedom on your side here? And when you look down there, it's a very clear, very simple, and as Matt said, it's a stressful scheme. I don't like using the word stress because of the connotation that it has, right?
I mean, stress just means stress.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It doesn't necessarily even mean, yeah. Anyways, so that path, when followed, I think kind of is gonna lead to salvation, right? So find the path of stress. Pick up your cross and climb up the hill. Find your whatever. All that stuff, all that BS, Gary Vaynerchuk shit about finding your purpose or whatever, and grinding is what refines, right?
I used Grinder
And
once.
yeah,
I never went through with it.
okay.
Okay.
Went through it. You never.
Now, Ike, was California the first place you lived at, or you lived in multiple different areas of the continental U.S., or even Hawaii? Who knows? I don't know if you lived in Hawaii.
I was in New York for like a year, without and then that's the first year. And then mainly.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Did Kazo just say he used Grinder?
Yeah, he would use Grinder, but he didn't. He couldn't let the guy. He didn't let the guy come on his back. So
yeah,
man, you should have just kept that to yourself, dog. I try not to say nothing, but you should have kept that to yourself.
No,
but go
no,
ahead,
no,
sorry.
no. Let me give the context. There was a time when I was a little bit of an incel, and I was like, damn, I need to get my dick sucked, right? And women, it was dry spell and shit, right? So I was like, I went on Grindr, I signed up, and all that shit, but I was like, I couldn't go through with it in the end. I was like, I can't meet this niggas up. Yeah, that's a true story.
It would have been a nice little. You would have.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever were to write a book, that would be a nice focal point around.
Well, I mean, yeah, you should have wrote a book, but like you came back from it, so like you shouldn't really like delve into that too much.
What's wrong with? Hey, what's wrong with Grindr AFR? AFR is like
there's a few things wrong with Grindr. You can get AIDS. You can get AIDS from Grindr. That's number one.
No, but it's actually very difficult to get AIDS from a blowjob. That's why I considered it, right?
No, I get it, but still.
Yeah. No, look.
Those dudes are pretty good too. Are probably pretty good too. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. But I tried that shit, but I was like, nah. I just couldn't go. I couldn't go through with it in the end. Unfortunately,
it got the good grip strength too.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Shit.
Shout out again, by the way, guys.
It's all a joke, Rifleman. It's all a joke, bro. Don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously, Rifleman.
Yeah. Shout out Tom Lakis for another.
I mean, you should know Case of Personality by now, bro. You should know it already.
Right,
it's quirky.
Right, exactly.
It's quirky.
Exactly. I'm very, very straight. Yeah. So shout out to Tom Lakis for another $5 super chat. Shackles people worldwide and violent. 100%.
Rifleman took you seriously. Is that Republican in him? That Republican in him taking it serious. But
right. And also shout out you dusty ass Africans, right? 2 Dwight men, right over here. Tom Lakis sent over $50. Shout out to him. Ike Ogiamien, another Dwight man over there with a skin paler than Jesus' left toenail. With a $200 super chat. Shout out to Dwight Man for sponsoring this stream. Rest of you Dusties out there, you better support this, man, so I can buy my girlfriend weave tomorrow, right? Because she don't want that dusty ass African hair, man. She wants that good hair shit, man. Let's see.
now, Ike, in comparison to the East Coast and the West Coast, I mean, you give an idea to Queso as far as the differences of lifestyles and stuff like that, and what you observe in both coasts, both the similarities and the differences.
Okay, similarities all from an outsider perspective, all through America is a certain kind of there is a grid-like system-like predictability to the layout of the cities and the amenities and the things. Sure, it's a bodega over in New York, but it's a corner store in LA or whatever. But there's certain types of regularities. If you stand up and walk east, you're going to run into some particular type of set of things, and all that, right? So that is true. In the East Coast, there's a little bit more outside because of the walking or the public transportation or the just there's a little bit more of that kind of a moving around feel. In the West Coast, you're moving, but because you're in a car, kind of feels a little bit more stationary, and you're not smelling the things you don't want to smell and all those other kinds of things, right? So more sprawl, so you can kind of go hide and chill in certain kinds of places. I've lived in LA, as in San Pedro, right, which is, walkable too, but very different vibe from like New York. People give you space in California more than New York. people are more in your face and such. But in New York, people are actually kind, but they're not nice. So I'm gonna the silly little thing I'm gonna say. Yeah, but in California, it's the opposite, right? They're nice, but they're not kind, right? And
I don't
I think I
understand the
like the
difference.
nice but not kind thing,
Thing, yeah.
because it's I just it's like just we don't really give a fuck. We know about
But what's the
how we're
difference?
gonna start our
What's the
next tech
difference?
billion or whatever the fuck kind of
I mean,
scamming
in
or scheming
California,
we're doing.
Yeah, no.
we're a little bit more surface and
Yeah.
fake about it.
Yeah,
Whereas New York, they're
right,
kind
right.
of
But
like,
that's actually interesting.
that's kind of like New York. They're a little bit more real about certain things. They'll let you know, like they let you know.
Yeah.
But
But one second, guys. Let me just shout out to the sponsors, man. You niggas
Mhm.
finally, man. 1 second. The Black Africans are now, trying to beat the white man. So shout out to America First, Rifle Coon. No, I'm joking. Rifle Man on Grinder saying, Dusty Grinder, enjoy. Shout out to you for the $5. I do appreciate it. By the
AFR
way.
seems like he's got some
Okay,
experience
this
with
nigga
Grinder.
out
Like
here.
he went in the deep end with Grinder, and he's trying to warn you, bro. Like,
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Everybody else ignored that Grinder shit. He came back. He was like, Grinder? Oh shit! I was there. Kaiser,
said
was he
it,
talking to me?
typed
Was he
it,
that
super
dusty
chatted
nigga
it,
that was from the UK?
put money
Like,
on it.
Yeah, I didn't. To be honest with you, I didn't even notice it. I was just, I was like, what?
exactly,
you know what I mean? It
man.
just
This
came
nigga
like,
noticed it, right?
No, hold on. Like you said it, and I was like Grinder. I was like, I was
One
like,
second.
that's
Shout
the
out to
gay in my head. I was like, that's the
as
gay
well for
thing.
€6.
Look, I'm just saying, like, look, I was just in my head. I was like, you guys were talking, and I heard Grinder. I was like, wait, I was like, hold on. I was like, Kazo fucking what? Huh? So it took me a second to react because I was like, what? But
No,
you explained it. You explained the context. You explained the context.
Yeah.
You good with me, son? You good? But I'm gonna fuck with you about it now.
I ain't zesty. Yeah, don't worry, I ain't zesty, right? Shout out to Storyteller for the €6. Bussy Lover. Storyteller, I will actually put you back on to the also AFR, type something on the chat so I can give you the mod status. Also you two dusty ass chitlins over there. But anyways, yeah, shout out to you for the €6. I do appreciate it. Tom Lakis, white man is on fire today, another $5. I'm sorry I can't take New York East Coast blacks seriously. Every time they talk, it sounds like they're rapping or graping. Okay, who knows? Shout out to you for the $5. And also, again, Tom Lakers, man, he's on fire today, man. Another $5. Blacks in the South sound like they just came out of cotton fields. Okay, shout out to you, Dwight, man. I appreciate the support, man. If I traumatized from his military days.
well, do that stubborn imitation you did one time, K. So it was kind of fucking hilarious. I was like, what the hell?
All right, yeah. Okay, wait. Tom Lakers, super chat one more talking about South Carolina, so I can just speak something about blacks in a racist way, so I can read the super chat again, right? So in a southern accent. I think he actually did it before I even said it. Man, this nigga is on fire today, man. Shout out to you, Tom Lakers, man, and Ike, and also AFR, Ike, AFR, Tom Lakers and Storyteller. You niggas on fire today. Shout out to you. He says, you got to write a longer sentence, but anyways, jackal people in the wet, and I can't do it, man. You got Tom Lakers, write a long paragraph so I can read that shit properly. Charcoal people in the West Coast and Mid-West Coast sound more educated. Interesting. Okay. Generally, yeah. Okay. Interesting. Everybody says Storyteller, brah. I've seen a video of dudes in military playing games where they tried to dip through a dildo. Shit was mad. Look, everybody. Let me make this clear, right? Military boys definitely have sex with each other. That's a fact, right? You put human beings together, no women around. It is what it is, right? I'm not gonna force AFR or chitlins to tell us what they really did over there.
No,
That's
Navy,
up to them,
Navy.
Right?
Navy,
no.
Navy.
Oh, okay. I see.
But large ground forces like Army and Marines, you get your ass beat for that.
Yeah.
So it's the ship. That, I guess that's
because I have cousins in the Navy. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
it's kind of funny. We were talking about sexual harassment and all that. They're doing a whole big case in Antarctica about women who being sexual harassed there. I'm just thinking, like, hold up, isn't Antarctica full of a bunch of scientists?
Yeah,
and they're like
that makes
beyond
sense.
that, right? They are beyond that. I'm not saying exalting them from being human beings, but as far as committing crimes such as rape or sexual harassment, stuff like that,
It's not that simple. It's not that simple. It's a small city. For one, it's a small city, and there's more than just scientists there. They have logistics people, they got government people, they got a couple military people. So they have all different types of people, and the people running it are largely, I think, the U.S. government is involved, but they're not the primary people in charge. I think
right?
it's
I
the
think isn't
National
Antarctica
Science
like,
Foundation or National Science Foundation that's actually in charge of the operation. They just get U.S. military and taxpayer support. So it's
but it's
not.
not
It's
only.
not.
What I'm saying it's not only the U.S. government there. It's like multiple different countries that are there. I mean, since Antarctica is technically speaking
No. There's different countries that have their own different missions. But at
right,
Murdo, what you're talking about is Murdo Bay,
right,
and
right,
that's run by like private government contractors like Raytheon or whatever, and then the
right,
National Science Foundation. So and also too, it's not just like chicks are going there and just getting raped. Like people are going there getting drunk out of their mind. People are
right,
like losing their mind. So it's like different. So it's not just women are just in danger because they go there. You got to remember, there's women that's been going there for 40 years straight. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So if it was really a rape factory, not saying you were saying that, but if it was really a sexual assault area, like women wouldn't go there at all.
Right. No, because they had a news. You probably looked at the news report this morning, right?
Yeah, well, they've been talking about this for years. It's like the first report I saw about this was like 5 years ago. They're just kind of updating it. Like they do have a problem, but it's kind of to be expected because like the nature of what they do there. So you're gonna have instances of like stuff like going on. But and like I said, it's not. I've looked into it. It's not to the numbers where people should really be like alarmed. Obviously, people should be informed, and women need to like understand that's like a very special place on the planet. Like like isolation and all these different types of people. So like women should be very aware. But like I said,
Okay.
once I looked at the multiple women going back every year, that's like
Guys, I got to shout out the super chat. There's another one. I love South Carolina.
Mine is.
But my granddaddy was a Klansman, and his granddaddy was a Confederate soldier.
Okay, it's interesting. You do it.
Was
like
that Ike? Yo, was that Ike?
Yeah, that was like that sounds. Shit!
God damn it, Ike!
That
sounds like amazing.
He nailed it.
That shit sound like from a plantation, man. Yeah, let me try it. Right, mine is a little bit exaggerated. That was perfect. Like, man.
I thought it was.
Can I read it? Can I read it? I lived in the South for many years.
All right, read it.
Read it.
Interesting.
All right, we're gonna read this super chat. I love South Carolina, where my granddaddy was a Klansman, and his granddaddy was a Klansman and a Confederate soldier before him. God bless Dixie.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Pretty accurate.
Wait, don't you rock the Confederate flag though, AFI?
From time to time to trigger people and to get a conversation started and to actually like, instead of having to be inundated with over emotional Black people that are ahistorical, that actually just want to yell about something and actually not have a conversation. So that's why it's just easier to pull that out and do that, because let's just be honest, a lot of Black folks don't want to have an actual intellectual, truthful conversation when it comes to the Confederacy or slavery. So, I'm just gonna be honest. Black folks more than, and I'm gonna have to say I distrust Black people more than I distrust neo-Confederates when it comes to recounting history. Because you got to remember, I'm from Northeast. I'm from New Jersey. So I don't have a particular bone to pick about that. I went down there when I was an adult and learned about the Civil War. So when I come across Black folks in the wild and white folks in the wild, White folks in the wild are way more willing to tell the truth. Like they'll tell me something and I look it up and it's accurate. When black people have told me stuff that I've taken in and looked it up, it was inaccurate almost every time.
This guy.
Every
Let's see.
time.
We're gonna have to disagree to disagree on
Oh
that.
my God, you
Okay.
guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, due to the fact, I mean, it's just kind of, I don't
Listen,
want to
okay,
broach the
listen. I'm not
subject.
talking about. Okay, listen. I'm not talking about
You know what I
you.
mean?
Stop trying to take. Hold on. Stop
No,
trying
no.
to
What I'm
take it
saying is this,
personal.
bro. What I'm
Stop
saying
trying to.
is
Hold on.
this.
Stop. Hold on. Let
What
me
I'm
finish. Let
saying
me
is
finish.
this, bro.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
I have
Let me
no
finish.
time. I
Let
have
me
no
finish.
time.
Let me
I have
finish.
no time
Let
to
me
go
finish.
back
Let
and
me
forth,
finish, bro. Let me finish.
back
Let
and
me
forth,
finish.
back
Let
and
me
forth.
finish, dude. Can I?
I
Okay,
mean,
I'm not going back and forth. Just
you
let me
really,
finish.
really talked
Let
enough
me
when it came
finish.
down.
You talked over me, and let me finish what I was saying, and I'll let
All
you
right, go
talk
ahead.
unless you
Finish
start.
what you're saying.
Okay. What I'm saying is that's my experience because I actually like history and that's what I experienced. You seem to be you are an intelligent person. We talked plenty of times and you're not ahistorical. You actually bring facts or your experiences to the table. So that's why I respect what you say. And if you tell me something, I'm not going to take it as your grievance politics stuff. So I got to scrutinize you like that because I have experience with you. But unfortunately, a lot of black people that like to recount history when it comes to our race are very dishonest. And that's what I've experienced. I'm not saying you have. So don't say, oh, I'm not going to have to disagree. That's my experience, bro.
All right, all right. I mean, everybody have different experiences, and for me personally, like I talk to people who went through certain things, um, especially in places where, particularly where my mother grew up and stuff like that, and growing up in a farm, and you know, the whole shebang. They told me everything. It's kind of funny though because at one token, even though I grew up in the Northeast, um, they never really talked about um, the whole issue when they would just pretty much, the whole separate water fountains and stuff like that. Ironically, I mean, I did hear little stories from my grandmother, whatnot. Bailey, I could understand her. She spoke that Southern stuff. But what I understood, even with her, they try to keep it sheltered until later on in my life. That's when people started telling me stuff that actually occurred down there. Which pretty much, like I said, like for you, I learned a lot of it from history, but from learning from personal events, from people who experienced those things, it just brought that reality to me. Since I know these people, and I know these people, and I grew up with these people pretty much practically most of my life, and these people are like in their 80s and some of them in their 90s and stuff like that.
Billie Jean.
Not my
Interesting.
love.
Okay. Yeah, Ike, you should send it the
Can I speak
$2
to that real
super
quick?
chat.
Sorry, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, sorry, because I was doing something, so I couldn't press the button, but I heard everything. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you have your experience, they have their experience. So you got to remember, I was talking about the Civil War. Okay, I wasn't
Mhm.
really talking about Jim Crow and the civil rights era. I wasn't talking about that at all. So yes, like your people had their experiences of being brutalized by white folks. I'll never take anything away from that because they actually have a grievance that's righteous against white folks. But I'm talking, and you already, and don't deny this, already, there's plenty of black folks out there that got this grievance against white folks and they went through one freaking minute of oppression. And that's true. Right?
I mean, oppression has definitely,
See, here
let
we
me
go.
let
There's
me
that
let me
tap
go to it.
dancing.
Let me
There's
go
that
to
tap
it.
dancing. Go ahead.
No,
There's
no,
that tap
no,
dancing.
no,
Go ahead.
no, no. You have to be open minded. I've been open minded with
I
you.
am. Go ahead.
Okay. Oppression has many different faces and many different ways of hitting a person. Whether it be the physical or whether it be the social and economic. We know that the American society is divided. I mean, if we wasn't divided, we wouldn't be living in, this is the white neighborhood, this is the black neighborhood, this is an Asian neighborhood, or this is a black middle class area, or whatnot. I mean, since we're supposed to be supposedly this melting pot, which I think we're more like different little salad bowls here. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, and
not exactly true, because
it is.
if you look at Asians and you look at Southeast Asians, they live with a lot of white folks. So we're the ones that most
You know,
by choice and by economics.
If you come to LA, you know,
LA is a different place compared to the
I'm
rest
just
of the
saying. I'm saying a lot of regions, especially if you have a large amount of them, people live in their separate areas, and that's just facts.
Yeah, it's by choice, but it's mostly by class, though.
Even among within, no, not even by class, even among within different within the same nationality or different parts of the country. I'm not going to even mention these group of people. They live in different areas. Actually, some of those people who live, who are from that particular country, live in the black areas, which I don't even understand it. I'm surprised you don't live in East LA. But yeah, I mean, America is, you know, a segregated society, and you know, and that's
okay. So once again, we're talking about oppression. You said it comes in many different forms.
Well, I'm saying it comes in many different forms. That's what I'm saying.
And
it comes from
and I won't, and I'm not going to disagree. And I'm not going to disagree with you. But at the end of the day, Black people as a collective in North America have made disastrous decisions, and we've had disastrous outcomes. So we can talk about how we've been oppressed, which, yes, you can draw oppression, you know, like that's happened. Nobody's denying that. But we've had a lot of agency in this country for a long time. So when people
I wouldn't say a lot of agency.
Here we go.
1960s is not long enough. If you're talking about, or 1970, I mean, I was born. God, I won't even talk about when I was born. Let me say I was born the after effects of the whole, you know, the civil rights movement and stuff like that.
I completely agree, but that doesn't take away from the fact.
I grew up during.
Okay,
I grew up during the crack epidemic
Mm-hmm.
when that occurred.
And guess what? We as a collective decided to engage in that crack, and we saw the effects. So we can talk about the crime bill and racism and all that. Hold on. No, at the end of the day, we'll go through the whole saga. They brought the drugs over. The government, you know, even though
that's just
okay. Hold on. Hold on.
It's not conspiracy right there.
Okay, listen. I looked at the whole thing myself, at from Air America to Kill the Messenger to that guy that, you know, the movie's based on. I actually saw him on Alex Jones. Like, I've researched it exhaustingly
I
from
did too, actually.
The Contra, and guess what? And this is what I came down to. Mm-hmm. The CIA was aware, and maybe one other government agency like the DEA was aware they were smuggling it in, but they didn't. They felt their sources and all their stuff was more important, so they let it go in. Plus, it went into the Black community, so they cared even less. So that's why they let it go, but they weren't actively getting the point. Like if I saw evidence for them actually, like, here's the CIA's plan, which now they traffic cocaine in other instances. So, but I'm talking about this particular one that we're talking about when we're talking about Ricky Ross and the Sandinistas and all that, Iran Contra, all that stuff. We're talking about that. There is no direct evidence saying CIA agent A got plane X and flew to here with all the drugs to fuck Black people over. There's no evidence of that. There's none. But people keep saying there is.
There is some.
What plane? What government agent? Exactly.
Let me land. Okay, there is some evidence, court evidence. It's where it's one of the, I forgot which person, you know, who was helping export it, did mention, as far as, even though, you know, the CIA pretty much was very, very, very well aware of the business dealings he was in, you know, in regards to that, in the court case, in the documents. So it's pretty much been known. I know that people like, what's that lady's name, that politician in California, Maxine Waters. I know she was doing an investigation in regards to.
You mean Kenny? You mean Kenny? Her, like the old crazy congresswoman, not
I'm talking about
Waters.
She was talking about it. Yeah, she was talking about it. because the whole
Yeah.
situation was Gary Webb from I forgot
Yeah,
the name.
exactly.
Gary
Yeah,
Webb.
that's Gary Webb. He was the journalist that
He was a
broke the
journalist
story,
who was doing an investigation of the
Mhm.
story at that time, and then
and they were
obviously
intimidating him, and then they killed him.
I don't think they killed him.
Yeah, they killed him.
I mean,
I have like the thing about it is like the guy was reporting that Navy SEALs were like he was going home to his
well, I
apartment.
know he was writing
reported.
another book. I know he was writing another book.
Well, he literally reported to people like Alex Jones and other people that like I was going to my apartment and a Navy SEAL literally jumped out of his window and just like slid down and just ran away out of his apartment. Like, so people like he knew he was being, he was under the microscope. That wasn't like a secret. So I'm very much under the impression that the U.S. government did kill him. I don't see why they wouldn't, because he was damaging their reputation. He was
Well,
actually doing.
they already damaged his. They already damaged his credibility. From the media.
Yeah.
I mean,
they got him to where he couldn't work. Yeah.
Right. There's no need for him to get killed. I mean, for them to kill him.
No, that's actually not true, because he's still writing books and getting people to like. People were talking about it. That's where he had to go. Like, I could see if he was ostracized and he just shut up and just became alcoholic or whatever, then that's preferable. But he got more determined, so they had to kill him.
I got to do some more reading on that.
Yeah, no, he was literally going to anybody who would listen to him. Like, he was going on alternative media. Like, he was not putting that story down at all. So they had to kill him. So like I said, I said, there's no direct evidence of the CIA bringing it in. They just had the CIA just the DEA and the CIA just gave the blessing. So that's it. And the thing about it, black folks have to hold on.
That's pretty much.
You can take it that way if you want. You can take it that way. But what I'm saying is, black people have to hold on. Hold on. Yeah, I got you. But this is black folks have to hold on to that talking point that the government brought the drugs in, so we can negate.
I mean, why would a government? I mean, here's the thing about
we're still responsible. That's it. It don't matter.
No, what I'm saying, I don't say about the American people in general. I mean,
it don't matter.
Where we get together when we're at war, especially when 9/11 happened, but you don't get together. I mean, seeing the value of your citizenry, like, you know what? Let's do something to change this shit and utilize our labors that you don't even have to get abroad and doing that. I mean, doing it and educate our people. I'm not saying like have a communist system like Russia or whatnot, but knowing the value of each of your citizenry and elevating that, which makes you a stronger country. Because with this division we have in this country right now, it's going to take us nowhere, and it's going to further us apart, and we're going to be like a train wreckage.
Well, tell that to all the black Marxists we got in this country.
I mean, not just blacks, whites too, bro.
Oh yeah, no, they're a problem, but they're controlled. Like, the thing about it is, I want to listen. I worry about black people. Like, I'm not like, look, I like, there's nothing I can do to stop white Marxism or whatever.
Oh yeah,
but there's no, and thing about it is, like, white people can afford to do that foolish shit. We cannot. Black people, we can't afford to do this stuff. Every black person that turns to that stupid ideology, it hurts us, and it's gonna hurt us even more in the future. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I have a visceral reaction to it, because like it's a waste of time. Like, when we have our young black women going to colleges talking about when we have our young black women going to these colleges and then going into like for sociology and talking about racial politics or whatever, that doesn't do anything for us. We need science, we need math, we need doctors. Like, that's what we need. We don't need all this social science crap, but that's what we go towards.
I don't know about all that. I mean, I know plenty of people.
Oh my God, that's another reason why we have a problem talking to successful or black folks that are around mostly successful other black folks, because they really do
me a favor, give me the data. Specifically, we talking about black women in general. I mean, I would say, yeah, definitely social scientists, but I think a lot of them are in the business, careers as well too. I noticed.
Okay, being a sole proprietor of a business is different than being an actual like job creator. Because let's just be honest, most of these Black women-led businesses are sole proprietorships, and they got one employee, if that. Okay, which is not a bad don't, and that's not me talking down, so don't go there. But what I'm saying is we like to misrepresent a little bit. Okay, like yes, I like the fact that Black women are more politically involved than Black men. I mean, we shouldn't be, it shouldn't be that way, but that's what it is. They're more involved, more and more in the business world, even though we all know they're propped up that way as well. You know, so let's keep that on it. But they're still Black women by and large are stepping up, and it's cool. But they like to misrepresent their successes because let's just be honest, Black men still make more money than Black women. On average, we still make more money than them, and they're still way more highly educated than us. That's facts. That's not incel talk. So if this high levels of education were so great for Black people, how come they're not making way more money in way more positions and all that stuff that comes along with the higher education? Because when they go to higher education, they don't go into shit. That's why, and we know everybody knows this. So that's why, like, and I'm not trying to get on you, but you capping a little bit. You capping.
I'm not capping for nobody but myself. But in regards, you talking about in regards to Black women and stuff like that, and I have to get some more data when it comes down to
well,
that.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
what fields are they kind of like dominating in? I mean, I know they're not. A lot of them not like a whole lot of them in the sciences. I know that. That's just facts. Just facts. But I noticed a lot of them are
because they don't. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What you wanted to say?
Oh no, yeah. The reason why they don't go in, well, just Black people in general, but let's just say Black women, they go into the sciences way less than Black men, is because it actually takes hard work. You actually have to work. It takes brain power, and a lot of our women want to skate by. Okay, you know why I know that? Because a lot of white women do. They try to do the same stuff that white women do, and we can't afford it. That's what I'm saying. Like when white women go to college, the whole they get their Mrs. degree and all that stuff. Like they go there and get a worthless marketing degree, and they marry a doctor. They marry a geologist. They marry the football player that's gonna go to the army or something like that. Black women, they're just getting dicked up and they're getting a degree and they're independent women now. You know what I'm saying? In sociology, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if Black women weren't getting married, but they were going into the hard sciences, or hard sciences or sciences like STEM, then we would see the positive effects. But they're going in for social work. That's what I'm saying. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a waste. They're better off getting married and staying with a Black man that makes $50,000 a year. At least you can get to start a family. They're better off doing that than getting a sociology degree starting off at $35,000, $40,000 a year in debt.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to convince sisters about that. But
well, so then I'm not. Don't expect me to sit here and just take all the bullshit. That's why I speak out against stuff like Iran Contra and all the Black women are the most educated. It's like, well, you're gonna have to put context. I put context to it. They just like to put the buzz statement out there, and I'll bring the actual numbers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing about it is the reason why I'm like this is because this is just it's delusional thinking. You know, like people are just too delusional. That's why, like, when Black men like to go running around talking about racism all the time or white supremacy, and it's like, no, Black man, you relegated your responsibility to everybody else, and this is response. So you can't go back now and talk about racism and talk about racism did it. It's like, no, we gave up our mantle of responsibility. So that's what I'm talking. And Black men don't like to hear that. And I'm not saying you, but like Black men will push back on me, like, oh no, but white people, but white. It always comes back to but white people. It never comes back to but we could have done this, but we could have done that, or we can do this. It's always but the society, but white people. And that's why we lost. That's why we lose every time.
Some of us do. But Queso, you still there?
Yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah, do me bring up maybe I have to Google it in regards to what fields most Black American women are doing or what they studying in colleges. All right.
I mean, just as a general note,
Right. Okay.
women in general go into careers and study things that don't make a lot of money. So, yeah, in general, irrespective of race.
Yeah, definitely. But like just black women in particular, we can't afford it. We need actual skills. And when they're in this training school, they're not forming families like the white women. Like I said, get worthless degrees like everybody else, but they at least get married and start wealth building. So that's what I'm saying.
Yep. Yep. That's interesting. So let me. Ah, Kevin Samuels is live right now. Shout out to him, grifting even after his death.
He's live.
Yeah, he's live right now. Top majors of black students include. Okay, this is black students.
Female.
Uh, okay. Where is the female aspect? Okay, black women represent just 7% of the population, but only 4.5, but only 4.2% of biology, science, 2.26% computer science, 2.8. Okay, so basically they're not really in the math and science field.
Mm.
Engineering is less than 1%, so that's like the seven times less represented in the engineering degrees. Oh,
Why are you gay?
yeah, which means actually black men are overrepresented in the hard sciences and shit.
Say that again.
That means black men are overrepresented in science and engineering and stuff. Because yeah,
I
interesting.
mean, all dudes like that I know personally, they're all doing engineering or like if they're in college, they're all doing engineering or computer science.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But what is the percentage? Because I keep on hearing, me and one of my friends was debating. There's more women attending university than there are men across the country, specifically in the United States.
Mhm.
Is
That
that
sounds about
factual?
right.
Yeah.
There's definitely a trend too. Even if the numbers may have not but there's a trend of more female in the room, which I think is a natural course of things, anyways. And then the universities will change, and because I think the university system is kind of outmoded,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's
actually, hang on.
what AFR said is partially relevant here with regards to women going and getting married, anyways.
Right.
It's not going to serve a man. These guys are and all these motherfuckers are baristas, okay? All these art and fucking sociology and basket weaving majors are baristas and shit. And it's not going to cut it as a man. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't go to university. Probably better off getting a real skill, apprenticeship model, whatever it is you're going to go out there, start early, get a 1099, and then get a business and be out here balling.
Right. Totally agree.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of interesting. According to this source, right, and this looks like a government source, it says actually there's a lie, right, about black women, right? Black women are significantly less likely than white women to enroll in four-year colleges, graduate within 6 years, and go to earn advanced degrees. The number of white women,
It's the
39% of white
graduation
women.
part that they're really coming at them for, because they do enroll a
Yeah,
lot, though.
okay, which makes sense, right? Because who cares about enrollment, right? Graduation
They're
is
not to graduate.
right, right. Graduation is the relevant part.
Ah, we
That's fucked
just
up.
Yeah,
popped the balloon.
bro. Like, what's the point in enrolling if you don't graduate, right? Like, okay, but okay, sure, if you get
Unless she
skills.
probably got pregnant.
Okay, interesting. Oh, by Pookie, but not married. Interesting. Okay, so no, look,
I'm
there's
talking
nothing
about,
wrong with
whether white woman or black woman. A lot of white pregnant girls, they just drop out.
drop out. Yeah. So black women are significantly less than white women to enroll in four-year colleges, graduate within 6 years, and go to earn advanced degrees. The number of white women, 39%, getting an associate or here's the issue, right? Why add associate, right? That doesn't count. Getting an associate or bachelor's degree by the age of 29 is nearly twice as high as for black women. Interesting, only 21%. Damn. Among black students in higher education, women are more likely than men to earn degrees. Black women get 64% of bachelor's degrees in the black race. Interesting. So they are being a black man. Interesting. 71% master's degrees and 65% of doctoral medical. I'm a PhD. Interesting. Fewer students of color attend 4 year. Okay, than whites. This is a complete opposite in the UK. In the UK, is actually black students who do have better college degrees and all that kind of stuff.
You mean
Probably-
Africans?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Africans. Yeah, you're right. True. Yeah. In the UK, so-called blacks, even the doctors, right? People like Zulia, they're overrepresented in the medical field. Like blacks are only what 3% of the population, but they're like 6% of the NHS, the medical profession. So way overrepresented. So yeah, interesting.
Mhm.
What the hell is human service and community organization? Is that a degree? 20% of them? Man, goddamn.
It's like it's like
Oh shit! Health and medical administrative services. Oh yeah, my girlfriend has a degree in this shit. Interesting.
dental assistants and stuff
Do
like
they
that.
have
Those
do
offices
they
they
have
need a
the
girl.
percentages for white women?
Let me see if it goes down. Black women, the death of Black and Latinx prospects. It looks like this particular website doesn't go deep into the white women. It just shows that white women are like 100% more likely to graduate from a degree, a 4 year degree, than the black women. So white women are 39%. White women have a 4 year degree. Meanwhile, it's only 21% of black women. So 100% more likely to actually achieve a degree than black women. So black women have been lying to us all this time. It's just that the black men are more dusty and uh, so interesting. Let me ask you guys a question, right? Because in the UK you can cry, oh yeah, racism because niggas actually have degrees. In America, you niggas don't even have degrees. What the hell, man? And again, I'm not talking about chitlins and Greeks and niggas that are like old. I'm talking about like niggas our age and or lack of entrepreneurship, right? Again, I'm
No,
putting
it
moral.
really depends. I mean, education is not the be all to end all for everything.
No, formal education. Education is
I mean,
always everything.
what I mean as far as like
Yeah,
college
I know.
degrees and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
like for example, I have cousins who have like degrees of engineering. Like I said, one who's helping NASA get in space or whatever. He used to do that. But then again, I have another cousin, who went to the Navy, married a girl from Japan and stuff like that. But and what he did was in his state where he lived in that case, Florida, while everybody in Navy was pretty much partying, getting drunk, high, both black, white, and other races. He utilized his money and he basically invested in the real estate market in his local Florida area. Time he like got out of the Navy within 20 years, retired, he was a millionaire. The Navy was the only group of people he pretty much worked for, but otherwise he pretty much didn't work for another company besides himself as far as real estate investing in. And now he's pretty much $20 million, that's what he's worth. A lot more money than, a lot of other people in my family. So it's just kind of like,
Okay.
education is great and all that, but there's other ways to make money.
Oh yeah, you can sell yourself. True. Selling ass is good. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's a good business for some women and some
Yeah.
men,
Yeah.
men too, I guess.
Yeah, but even then, you still have to kind of work hard. You have to understand how business works. You can't just, if you do the low hanging fruit way, you're gonna get, screwed, literally, pun
Yeah, it's true.
intended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I do like your perspective, always bringing us to the individual level sort of analysis. It actually adds value to the conversation. It prevents mass, gross generalizations that leads to too much signal error. So yeah, shout out to you,
Yeah.
Chitlins, and Yeah, you definitely do add a value to conversations. I got a question for Mad. Right, Mad, you as an African descendant, relatively high IQ compared to the average IQ of an African, right? Yours is at least in the gifted range, even compared to the white man. Do you think that it's your responsibility to go back to Senegal and help Senegal become a superior nation? Or are you going to continue working within the American hegemony and increasing the white man's money?
I mean, it's quite interesting. Um, I don't really believe in the concept of helping people. I mean, that sounds very. I mean, this particular conception is not actually unique. Um, it's kind of like generally like when it comes to dealing with poverty. Uh, I think people who aren't in poverty generally understand that. Yeah, poor people, whatever. But there's a certain point where it's like, for the most part, the basis as to why someone's in poverty in most cases is due to their own sort of fault. And not only that, the basis for them to be able to get out of that situation is also up to them. So there's no need for someone to come in and help them, right? Just like I stated before, the way that life works, it's a one unit, it's a one unit, what do you call it? A one unit mobilization, right? So it's just one step in, one step out. Like whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. It's very simple. So really, my conception in terms of dealing with my home country, honestly, I view it from the standpoint of just kind of fun, just kind of like a fun mind game. Because notably, when I was because I was just a little kid, so I don't really know. But from what I was told from like people who saw me like when I was a little kid, they told me I was just basically running around. When I mean running around, I mean so like I was probably like 2 years old or something, and I was like running around like random people, just like going all over the place and doing crazy stuff like that, right? So I was probably just having a lot of fun. So that's ultimately what I would envision if I were to go there. Like I would just have a bunch of fun, get a whole bunch of girls, uh, just have fun. That's the only thing that I would do if I were to go there. Same thing that I would do if I was here. That's really it. So not even that deep.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So basically, fundamentally, things that smell like
Fundamentally,
altruism.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
you don't really have no connection with I don't know if you come from Senegal or Gambia.
They
You
ain't
know,
got a connection with human
Senegal.
beings. Full stop. He just wants to do him.
right? I
He likes to
understand.
masturbate. He doesn't like to have good sex with someone. He wants to just masturbate because he
I
knows he's like,
literally just said if I was to go there, I would get a bunch of girls. That's literally what I said.
So he's in that girl stage.
hmm
Right now, nah. Right now, I don't get any girls at all.
No, I'm just saying, you're in heat. You're young and 20 something years old. You want to hump everything that walks.
I don't even know if it's like that. It's just kind of like,
or are you an equal rights opportunist, man? You don't care if they can walk or not, as long as
what?
In other words, they could be black, white, fat, skinny,
I
deformed.
mean,
You'll hump it.
I mean, it's kind of like, how do I put it? Um, I
Well,
mean, I have a big appetite fundamentally. Like, I have a big appetite for what it is that I want. But at the same time, like, I believe in sort of moving in the flow of sort of like wherever I am. You know, uh, like I could go out and like just start getting a bunch of girls if I want to, but I don't know. There's just something inside of me that tells me to kind of just wait and just like move within the flow of like normality. Like
okay.
I mean, Kaizo. I think Kaizo knows this very well. Like I'm a very abnormal individual. Uh, I'm trying to be normal. I am, I am curious as to what normal, like the implications of what normal holds. I'm curious about that.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
basically what I'm doing now.
Okay. Interesting. It's kind of interesting. Like, so for me, like, I do remember I mentioned, right? I think 6 years ago, I was a little bit of an incel for like 5 months, where I had a no, sorry, 3 months where I had a dry spell. So I even contemplated a certain app that American Fast Rifleman is very well acquainted with. But in general, I would say in my case, right, uh, you should move to East Africa, man. Like all these Somali women box is definitely the best, man. You should try that shit, man.
Why do you
I
say
will.
Somali
I
women
will.
particularly?
Oh,
Because he
right.
has
Like,
a
what makes
fetish.
them
He has
different?
a
What
fetish and
makes
he's
them different?
projecting. He's
It's
projecting. He has a
okay.
fetish.
Um, yeah, sure. It's one of my fetishes. I have many. It's kind of interesting. If it's very difficult for someone to put me in a box, right? It's like I think I fit too many boxes that putting me in one specific box will be kind of be inaccurate. Yeah, it's a great fetish, man. Have you never tried FGM, Bussy? One of the best, bro.
Nah, he's gonna
Nah,
go.
I'm good.
Dr. Matt
I
is gonna
want a
go.
woman to. I want a woman to actually have an orgasm if I'm doing all that work.
You ain't lying. Dr. Matt is probably gonna go to the Dominican Republic or Jamaica or something like that. I mean, that's what people in this part of the world usually go to.
Yeah, just don't
Actually, I
speak French.
want to go to Uganda.
Oh shit! No, bro, don't go Uganda. Come to Kenya. Uganda, you're gonna
Well,
get
I just
those.
go there to. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna go there and trick like
no,
Big Head.
bro. Listen, if Kenyan women are better looking than Ugandan women. Ugandan women are dark skinned, man, bro. Just come to
Well, no,
Kenya,
I mean dark skin's not the problem, but some of them are jacked up.
bro. Listen, light skins
'Cause
are
I
number
know a couple.
one.
I've known a couple of Ugandan chicks over here, and they were like they're kind of ugly. I'm just gonna be honest. They were nice. They were nice, smart, intelligent women, but they were just not good looking.
Bro. It's Kenyan women all the way. Stop it with this Ugandan women, man.
Oh no, I know there's a lot of fine Kenyan women. I already know I'm gonna go over there and find a girlfriend or some type.
Oh, let me
Actually, to be honest,
let me ask you.
I want to get a cop or a chick in the army.
Let me ask you a question. Are you unable to compete with in Kenya because you understand the market over here is a little bit more difficult? If that's the case, it makes sense,
For
right?
what I want, for exactly what I want. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I'm just gonna be honest, my price
Yeah,
range or what like the money that I make, I can't afford a 20-something-year-old chick, in America. To get on, that's actually gonna love me and get on my plan. Like
Yeah,
I
but
could
look,
probably pay a chick
now,
for a couple years to be my wife, but
yeah.
it's not gonna last. Like we're not gonna be good to have kids and stuff.
But you see, FR, listen, this is what you're gonna get with the Kenyan chick, right? You can see my screen, right? Face is
Cowboy
okay,
butt sex.
body's got curves. You got the ass a little bit there. You got the curves, the face. Okay, Kenyan women don't have boobs and they got the ass. Right? So this is what you can at least expect in Kenya, Uganda, and also kind of like mid light tone skin. You're gonna get that dusty ass, dark skin. You see, decent face, decent body structure, decent ass. No boobs, okay? That's how it is, right, in Kenya. But isn't this what you'd rather have, AFR?
Is this a Kenyan soap opera?
Yeah,
That's the
I
Kenyans over
can
there,
definitely
right?
do. I can wipe that up.
I don't know. This is
I can
Black
definitely
American.
wipe that up.
So what?
Good. That's like
You know what?
right?
I'm leaving.
You got
You want me to pick you up from work?
With what car?
It's a Black American
No.
channel, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
but that's a typical Kenyan, right? Beautiful, nice ass, nice curves. The problem is no boobs. So you just got to accept that there's no
I don't
boobs.
care as long as she's proportionate. That's all I care about.
Okay.
I can deal because like I've dealt with a lot of Asian chicks. They don't have boobs ever, so I'm kind of like as long as they got decent thighs and butt that kind of correspond with each other. That's all I care about.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't like the big
Or I can get you a nice Somali
BBL
if you want, man.
bullshit.
They have.
I want to get
Hang
me
on,
a
Afa.
skinny.
Why don't you get the Somalis, man? They're the best. Get yourself a Somali. I can get you one.
I mean, I'm going to
How
be
much you gonna?
honest. The Somalis over where I'm at, they're either there's a third that are ratchet, a third that will stay with their own, and the other third chased after white people. So that's kind of like how
No,
Somali
look,
women
Afa. It's
are.
like here's interesting. Afa. Nobody sticks to their own, right? Listen,
Not. I mean, I'm just
hang
gonna
on,
be
hang on.
honest.
Afa,
Over
hang on,
here,
Afa.
yeah, they
Wait.
do.
No, it's not true, bro. I'll consider myself a 5. I get any bitch that I want from any tribe or nation. Well, why can
It's
I get
because
any bitch?
you're. It's because you're a black Brit. Stop it.
This guy. Point is, if right, there's no such thing as selective hegemony and shit, man. Women like the same shit. They like confidence and a man that makes dough. That's it. Nothing else.
Scared.
Feel you,
That's it.
dog.
Dough and confidence. That's it. I ain't got the dough, but I got the confidence.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So if when you come to Africa, understand that you are a 0.1% man. You understand that, right?
That's what people say, but I believe
No,
it when I
100%.
see it.
Bro. If you make over $400 a month in Africa, you're already a top 3% man. You understand that, right?
True.
$400 a month, you're 3%. You think a dusty for African ain't gonna take that shit? That is
Hey,
gonna be
hey,
something big, man.
Kazo, you know how much I spent to buy a new holster today? I just bought it online like an hour ago. You know how much I spent?
A
Two
toaster.
hundred and fifty-five dollars. Yeah, holster for a gun. $255.
Wait, what's a holster? I don't know what that is.
A holster for a gun. Holster.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
$255.
You see what I
This
mean,
is,
right?
still, yeah.
Yeah, basically, you are suited to be finding yourself a beautiful African. And here's the thing with the Africans, especially East Africans. West Africans have got the boobs and they've got the ass, but they don't have the
Yeah.
curves. So that remember
No,
this,
they
right?
don't.
West Africans, boobs, ass, no curves. East Africans, perfect curves, perfect ass, but no boobs. So then now the South Africans have everything. They got the boobs,
Yeah.
ass.
Nah, their butts are too big over there. I don't know. There's some them South African chicks' butts be too. They be looking nasty.
Right. But they do have big everything though, right? East
Yeah.
Africans got the curves and ass, but no boobs. West Africans, you got the boobs and ass, but the curves and everything. So you gotta choose what you want, right? Or you can go for the Habesha. Habeshas have a nice face and boobs, but
Mm-hmm.
no body. Man, they got no body. They're like a flat iron back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think you want that, right? And also their mouth smells like
No.
injera. I don't like that shit, man. It smells like it don't smell good, man. Trust me. Like from my experience, I wouldn't recommend that shit, man.
Even
Like,
after they brush their teeth.
bro, it don't change. You know how like Indians have like this like musky smell of curry?
Not
That's the
all
same.
of them.
Yeah. No, bro, it's the same, man. Like, bro, it's
Nah, there's like
Indians have
30% of Indians that permanently stink. The rest of them, if they take a shower, like they good.
nah, it don't change shit, man. And also Ghanaian smell of fish. Like you know this, right?
I don't know.
Ghanaian smell of
No,
this like musky
I've been around a couple of Ghanaians, but they didn't smell like fish to me.
like
But they were
okay,
Americanized, so
no, even American ones. I correct me. Don't Ghanaian houses smell like fish? Like the walls, like every
I'm
time
not
they
out,
cook that
I'm not going to low level Ghanaian houses. Okay.
bro. I heard
damn.
like Ghanaians in the UK, like you remember they used to live in those terrace houses, like poor people and everything. The house
You
smelled
fucking
like
dusty immigrants in the UK, your fucking congested houses, and the fucking
yeah,
mom is a fucking She gets panic attacks, so she locks all the windows in the house, frying fish from morning to night. There's a fucking sheen on the ceiling, and it's a fucking 5mm thick layer of fucking oil and shit.
Yep.
Fish
All
grease.
stuck in the wall.
So
stuck in
that's
the
your
ceiling.
you people's problem over there in your dusty fucking projects or whatever.
Oh Lord. Yeah, no, 100% none. I remember I used to invite some Ghanaians in my house, and my mom, my mom's great. Like, my mom came from the culture of like having food in the house, right? It's interesting, right? So I used to invite some Ghanaians in my house. Naturally, they were big, but they couldn't afford food. So whenever time they come to my house, they used to eat all the chicken, all the rice, all the cake. Because my mom used to buy shit in bulk. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how it is in your sort of setting that you want to create for your family, but there tends to be like people that think that spending money on food is expensive, so they like starve their kids and stuff, and that's what kind of builds that resentment shit going on.
I didn't know there was a whole food resentment thing going on.
No, there is, like, bro. There actually is. Like the Ghanaians, like every time that I invite them to my house, in fact, they used to just come over just to eat free food, right? So it was actually a real thing. Shout out to Brian for $10, mashallah. By the way, guys, I finally bought myself a fridge, right? Or rather a freezer, whatever you want to call it, right? So I won't have to be forcing my girlfriend to go out and buy food anymore. We might actually be able to be more productive because it's interesting. Like, why did I take so long when I love ice, right? You've known my love for ice for a long time. Was I just dusty? Like, this should have been the first thing I should have bought, right? Because I'm in love with ice.
That's bullshit. Update.
I have to walk the dog. I may be back later. Keep the dust alive. Okay, shout out to you. Over there.
You're not a white person. You're not a white person. You don't have to You don't have to walk no damn dog. What are you, a white person?
Have you heard the way he sounds? He sounds like mad, man. This niggas sound like they came right out of like marshmallow pit.
What?
I don't even know what that meant, but okay.
Exactly. What does that even mean?
What color is marshmallows, man?
Green.
Usually
in
white.
the Navy. Smoking weed with Lebanese.
Oh, by the way, Matt, I have a question for you, man. Like, you probably don't, I'm going to ask you a stupid question. You might not be related to it, but I've met a lot of Senegambians, right? Now, there was a girl I met. I actually kind of liked her. She was crazy. She was ENFP, right? I think you might have met her before. Her name was Jenaba. Her brother as well, Ibrahim, whatever, etc. Then there was also Darth, Margus, whatever his name is. There's also Afridamus.
I like him sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that you Senegambians can either be very high IQ, like you, and
or very crazy. Yeah, you're right.
Or you can be really, really weird and low IQ. So what's going on with your people, man?
I
think the average Gambian IQ is like 52. That's lower than a monkey.
I mean, actually, from what I checked, the IQ is in Senegal is like 75.
Yeah, Senegal is high, man. 75. That's 5 points above retarded.
It's like exactly. Like relative to like the rest of Africa, it's actually somewhat high.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Even like what Senegal is doing generally in terms of economics, investments, Senegal is overrepresented in shit that it shouldn't be in as a small country. So that's what. So maybe it's the Gambians who are low IQ, the Senegalese are high IQ. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, that would make sense. Honestly, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with Senegalese people? I don't really know. I mean, I'm not really too connected.
Tu parles le français?
I don't actually speak French. I'm pretty sure. I know my mom speaks French. I don't know if my dad speaks French. He probably does, but I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on with these people, but I do think like the weirdness that you like the weirdness quality that you have. But I think I definitely do think Senegalese people are not like the rest of like African people in general. I think the thing that makes African people Senegalese people fundamentally different, maybe like Gambians as well, but I really don't know anything about them especially, is that I don't think they're judgers. I think in cognitive function terms, like I think virtually every other African country is like TEFI basically. I think Senegal is actually a perceiver, so they're probably NISE. So that's what makes them weird and kind of quirky and stuff.
Real question is,
But in terms of like high IQ, low IQ, I
hey,
I
Kaiser,
don't know. I don't know anyone. I don't know another Senegalese person that's like me. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't have
No,
enough data.
Flex stuff is along a similar path. As this nigga on the chat, he's not too far off. But I think the Gambians generally I see more of a bitch ass attitude in them. So more so than the Senegalese, I think. Probably just a very, very heuristic, experience based sort of analysis. And also, if you look at just generally the
I
countries,
think
Gambia,
one thing.
oh,
I guess one thing I would say that's of note though is because I do like have like Senegalese like people around my particular not neighborhood but like that I know in general that I grew up with, and like at least from what I've seen, like we kind of all just do our own thing. Like whereas like other groups of people, I guess other like types of people, they all sort of integrate with one another, right? But at the same time, like we all still have like a very conscious awareness of each other. So it's like even though we don't really see each other at all and we don't really hang out and like that's just how it is, like the idea that we are like not together or we don't like support each other or something is doesn't really exist, right? I mean, it's kind of the same relationship I guess I have with you, kind of like I don't know, like if I stopped talking to you for like 2 years and then I came back, everything would still be normal. Like it's not even like anything happened, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of how it is.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
hey, Kaiser, any luck with the SolidWorks thing?
Yeah. I mean, if you might have to end the stream, then pick some people for it.
Well, you can't fucking walk and chew gum at the same time. Fucking guy.
Okay, true. It's possible. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Actually, the 17, whatever, 17 people interested.
Yeah,
in
you've made
joining.
all your super chat money.
Yeah. Oh, true. Okay. Interesting. That's a good
What is
analysis
this
there. Today, let me actually do the. I think it's $291, man. That's almost rent. Rent is $100 a month. So, yeah, I've almost made rent in one day. This is crazy. Yeah. So shout out to you and those Dusties and White Man, of course. Right. Yeah. Rent is 400. I've made $291. That's Yeah. Also, Matt. So, Matt, let me ask you a question. Right? No, you're right. Yeah. Actually, Ike, it's 21 bids so far.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So let's see. Upgrades. Yeah. Question out for you, Matt. Is this right? How do I deal with an IXFP? Right. I got IXFP in my hand. I think you saw her on the video.
I don't think so. I don't think I saw it.
No,
the only girls I saw were the two ones.
That's her. Yeah, that's her.
Oh, very nice. How do you deal with an IXFP?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, all women are the same, really. The key to do, I mean, the key to dealing with women naturally is you don't really do anything. That's kind of the point. Um, yeah, that's the answer. You don't really do anything. You just sit
Mhm.
and you just let them love you. That's about
Interesting. Okay.
it.
So
It really is that simple. You know, it's kind of like I suppose like a lot of times we try to. It seems as though women are just crazy for no reason, but at least from what I can tell, in most of the cases, the basis of their responses are actually proportional. I think it is fundamentally the case that most men fundamentally they are fundamentally scared of like hyper emotionality. Obviously, IXFP is representative of a very strong sort of hyper emotionality. INFP in a more um, in a more theoretical context because they talk and they're emotional, you know, and then ISFP in terms of like actions and they're very like physical and they're indefinite in their orientation. So I think men are fundamentally scared of that fundamental image. But I don't know. I mean, if you can get past that, inevitably what's going to happen is just everything sort of just chills out. All it's just about I guess as a guy what it is that you want to handle. If you want a very emotional sort of whatever type woman, then it's fine. If you want a woman that's less emotional, like just their demeanor in general is just less emotional, then you could get a SI dom, either an ISTJ or an ISFJ. Either one would work. Or you can get a woman that's a thinker, an ISTP, or an INTP. Any woman that's a thinker, really, it doesn't really matter. Um, but yeah, like when it comes to dealing with like very emotional women, their contour is a lot. I get it, but inevitably, it is really as simple as just accepting the nature of their contour, and then just not doing anything pretty much.
right, I see, I see. Okay. Yeah, I think that generally makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. So women are women, right? Bitches are bitches. So you don't over
I mean,
specify on.
it can't be that complicated naturally, given I mean, it has to be. I get it, like I mean, it just has to be the case that women just like men and men just like women, and the basis of facilitating that relationship is such that you don't really have to put any effort. That just has to be the case, objectively. you know, I mean, the basis around why men work or whatever, functionally speaking, isn't to get women. It's just their own personal kind of proclivity. Like with Ike, I don't think Ike does anything that he does in relationship to women at all. He's just doing what he does, right? Am I correct, Ike?
Very correct.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
very, very simple. So I mean, but I don't know. I mean, more interestingly, I guess, like with like more interestingly, it is interesting though because in everything in life, fundamentally speaking, the answer to do anything or to be anything, whatever, is functionally to do nothing. That's actually the case. Like that's just the case, right? If you want to be good at sports, inevitably you have to learn a set of routines, whatever that you drill and you practice, and you do it over and over and over again, and and like you just stick to those sort of patterns. Like in everything in life, you pretty much just everything is very simple. Everything is very low energy. But what's interesting is how like all the craziness and all of the sort of glitter of life can come from just these simple interactions, right? And I think that's ultimately what makes like dealing with an INFP or an ISFP seem scary or crazy is like because they have this transtemporal quality where like you like if you have sex with them or if you get into a relationship with them, that it's way bigger than just the sex or them cooking for you or whatever it is that they do, right? Like it comes with way more than that, right? Whereas maybe if you're just dealing with like a ISTP chick, you know that maybe there's other stuff that'll come involved, but you know for a fact she's just going to give you sex and food. Like you can just be sure that that's the experience that you're going to get. Not none of the crazy roller coaster consciousness type stuff. You know? Like at least from what I can tell, most dudes are just not into that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Actually, generally, yeah, can't disagree with any of that.
What the fuck are you doing, guys? Like, why are you even on here right now?
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna end the show for the Dusties. Yeah, the show's gone.
Wow.